Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So in this video, I'm going to talk about current state of Japan. Especially I'm going to be talking about gender equality, workplace gender equality, as well as gender equality expectation and then gender roles played in, let's say, marriage, career, workplace, among friends, family, cousins, uncles, relatives. This is something that maybe it's super hard to understand or study because this is more implicit and this is really tangible culture. So you don't really see it unless you have eyes for it, unless you pay conscious attention to the way people communicate and the implicit expectation put on both gender. So I grew up in Japan for first 20 years. To be precise, 19 years, and I got sick and tired of certain things about Japan. For example, hierarchical structure, extremely closed offness of people, company. It is really hard to move around between companies because companies are going to shackle you. They are going to chain you as kind of like company slave, because it's not quite like in North America where switching jobs is that easy. So it is expected that people stay with companies for the rest of their lives. You know, that's a kind of tradition that they built in the past few generations, so it's hard to change in just a few years. It is a little bit changing, but anyways, let's get to the point. So in terms of gender equality wise, I might be wrong, but I'm just gonna share with you guys my observations and my understanding and knowledge, real life experiences, as well as just reading news, as well as listening to native Japanese stories and opinions about those. But first of all, let's talk about my observations and some anecdotes I heard from people that I talked to in Japan, like real Japanese people, right? So first of all, I studied abroad in Canada for 5 years, and you see, but I was an international student studying at the university, but I often see ESL students studying English in, let's say, Canada or United States. So almost all the Japanese I have seen abroad were ESL students. So they are not like me who are enrolled in academic program to really study and then pursue a bachelor or master's degree. And my observation is that 70–80% of them, Japanese ESL students, are women. What does it say about it? Well, demographics wise, most of them are, it's actually two splits, because they usually come here, they come to abroad to study English, or let's say maybe Spanish, depends on where they are, but let's say in North America they study English, and the working holiday visa is valid until you're 30. So bulk of Japanese coming to abroad are either like university students and they are taking a gap year or taking a summer break, so 19 to 23 age range. And the second group is they quit their jobs a few years into their career or profession, maybe 25, 26. They got tired of it, or they wanted to find something, different things in their lives, and so they quit and they wanted to explore different world, the outer world. So that's the second group. And the third one is before 30, like 29, 30. They have a deadline in terms of requirement to get work visa. Working holiday visa. So those are the three types of people in terms of age. In terms of gender, 70–80%, 85–90% of them are women. What does it say about it? Well, in school, there are not much restrictions put on male guy students to study abroad. So I can't really say about that, but when it comes to the rest of the two groups, maybe those people who quit their jobs and come to North America, or maybe they're taking a year or two before 29, 30 to really take advantage of that working holiday visa. Most of them are women because it is much harder for guys to quit their jobs, quit their full-time jobs and go travel or go study English or study abroad for a short time like 1 year and then go back to Japan and then get a full-time job again, because there's so much more pressures for male employees, and it is expected that when they get married, they talk to their future wife-to-be parents to ask for permission usually to get married to the girlfriend, and at the time his girlfriend's parents are gonna ask him, so how, like, you know, either implicitly or explicitly, the parents are gonna kind of screen them. And maybe even in a TV drama, there's explicit scenes where the guy, a girl's parents asking the guy, how would you be able to financially support my daughter? You know, do you have a good job? Do you have a stable job with good income? You know, so parents screen those guys. Maybe you can imagine that, you know, Chinese or Korean parents doing that. So that's the expectation for sure. Even if it's implicit, you know, we know, like, we grew up watching those TV shows and stuff like that, or even movies. So guys are expected to be the main person to earn money. So that's like a male's role there. It is changing, however, still most of the males would be expecting or have pressure to do that. And if they are not having a good job or stable job, Japan is not Sweden or some countries in Scandinavia. So it's not that earning money is not split between two genders equally. It is quite opposite. So males go out and then have a job and then work and then get paid, and the women still do most of the, you know, taking care of kids and stuff. It is not just people's fault, but it is also because of the social systems reasons. It is much harder for guys to take paternity leave because companies and culture don't really allow that yet. So that's the culture, right? It's an external environment. So most guys have no control over cultures and the top executives in the company's thinking. So guys just need to follow that, and our surrounding environments as well. So his girlfriend's parents would expect him to have a stable, good income and job. So that's why it's much harder for guys to quit his job and then go study abroad, because he has so much pressure and responsibility on his shoulder. Whereas women, they are less expected to produce as much income as guys when it comes to, like, let's say marriage, right? So they have less, they can be a little more carefree than guys the same age. And most of them probably who are quitting and coming to North America to study ESL have a little different jobs, like maybe more like contract jobs or part-time jobs. It's not quite as I would say prestigious full-time jobs at the big companies, like typical Japanese achievers, or the path that typical Japanese male achievers are on the path. I don't know what I'm saying right now. I'm a little bit stuttering. Focus. Yeah, so that's that. So a lot of them are actually, you know, quitting the jobs, like part-time and even full-time, but contract jobs, not really committed to big companies, corporation, consultancy or finance or engineering jobs. Those high-stake, high-profession, like high-intelligence professions, people, they don't really come to ESL or, like, you know, study abroad. Based on my experience and my observations and anecdotes as well, most of them have less committed jobs, and they can quit and they can go back there and then they can get a job again. So those are kind of like demographics of people coming to study ESL. So that's a gender equality thing there. It is much harder for them to, for those on a path to be an achiever in the future, executives or a manager in big companies. They can't do that because it's much harder to find a job there. it is such a shame that the industries built up like that, whereas in like let's say North America or like Europe, you can take a year off, you know, if you want to. And employer, like future employers would have a decent understanding if you wanted to, or if you needed to take a 1 year break, right? But in Japan, it's kind of not like that. It's once you graduate from university, you need to get a job. If you don't get a job right after, then you're gonna be behind by 1 year, and everybody starts from the same line, and if you're behind, then you won't be able to get a job as a new grad, and there are less job openings for experienced hires in Japan. So that's the kind of a driving force for Japanese people to focus on career in that way, you know, different from like the rest of the world. So that's a little bit too long, maybe lengthy, but that's my detailed analysis of